Welcome to today's module lesson. Today we're on lesson number 5 for our EL module, and today's focus will be on studying and learning about tools that we find in math and science. I've brought a couple examples to share with you that I found in my house. The first one is a ruler. A ruler is used to measure things and to also help me to draw straight lines. I have a magnifying glass, which I use in science to observe things closely. When I look through the lens, everything that is small gets bigger and bigger, so I can study bugs, or I can study just little things that exist in science. The third thing I wanted to show you is my cell phone. My cell phone is a tool that has a math tool on it. It has something called a calculator. So I can use this to help me add or subtract numbers, multiply, divide, find percentages, etc. Today in module, we'll also be reading a story called Tools by Anne Morris, and then looking at some text that's about math and science tools in particular. So I'm going to begin by sharing my screen with you today, and this will help you to follow along with me. The purpose of Miss Duquette making these screens is to help her stay organized, but also to show all of you that we have all these letters that make words, and the words make sentences, and that's how we communicate in writing. So hopefully you can begin to follow along with me and see that all these words help us to communicate clearly in writing. So we have 2 targets for today. You can take your bow and arrow. The first target for today is I can examine tools through close observation and drawing. So again, we'll be drawing some tools and we'll be looking closely with them through our magnifying lens to really see how to draw these tools that we choose. And the second one is I can ask and answer questions about tools and how they are used. So those are our 2 targets today. When we're done with the lesson, we'll go back and make sure that we hit those 2 targets, that our aim was perfect and we hit those 2 targets. So again, we're examining tools through close observation and drawing, and we're asking and answering questions about tools and how they are used. We're going to begin our lesson by reading a book on the computer called Tools for Math and Science. We're going to be asking you what this text was mostly about, and then you'll be able to state a blank tool is used to blank. So you're going to say what kind of tool it is and what it's used for. So please, for one moment, while this is loading, be thinking about what kind of tools are used for math and science and what they are used for. So for example, a ruler is used to measure things. A magnifying glass is used to observe things closely, and a calculator helps me to do math equations and math problems. So again, this story is called Tools for Math and Science. And I'm going to scroll down just a bit so you can see it better. It says, scientists and mathematicians use tools every day. You can use them too. So scientists and mathematicians use tools every day, and you can use them too. First example is the ruler. You can use a ruler. A ruler has lines and numbers so that you can measure the length of something. So if you look closely, you can see the lines. I don't know if you can see that well on there. I might need a darker background. If you look closely at it, you can see the lines and numbers on your ruler, and it helps you to measure things. The next tool we're going to look at is a timer. It says a timer is a good tool for measuring the amount of time something takes. So let's say I want to walk around the block. I can use a timer to see how long it takes. Or let's say I want to cook an egg. I can use a timer to time how long it takes to boil an egg. The next page is all about a pencil. I know we all have pencils in our learning space. Here's mine. Mine's a mechanical pencil, but it says a pencil is a tool too. You can use a pencil to write down what you measure or to take notes. So it sounds like scientists and mathematicians can use pencils to write down what they observe, to solve problems in math. A calculator is a helpful tool for math. It can help you add really big numbers. or I sometimes use it to check my work to make sure I was accurate. And then not finally, but the next tool is a magnifying glass. This is helpful for looking at small things. What is this tool? What was that orange tool? Or not the orange, what is this tool with the purple background? It says, what is this tool? It is called a beaker. It can help you measure a liquid like water. So a beaker is used in science to help you measure things. And then you use your magnifying glass to observe what's going on. Which of these tools have you used before? That's a concluding sentence. Did you use a timer ever? Did your teacher last year use it? Has Ms. Duquette already used it this year? Have you ever used a ruler, a pencil, a beaker, a magnifying glass, or a calculator? Before we move on from this story, I want to go back up to the very beginning sentence. This is called the introduction. It tells us what the text is going to be about, and it'll answer that question, what was the text mostly about? So the beginning sentence is, scientists and mathematicians use tools every day. You can use them too. So that's telling me, or telling us, that the text is going to be about the tools that scientists and mathematicians use. The author of this book then went ahead and gave us an example of a ruler, a timer, a pencil, a calculator, a magnifying glass, and a beaker. And then the ending sentence ties the whole story together. And at the end, the author asked a question. Which of these tools have you used before? So that was our story for today. It was mostly about the tools that mathematicians use and scientists use. And then I want you to think about, what is one tool that you use? That's for math or science. What's one tool that you use for math and science? And we'll be revisiting that and drawing a picture of that today at the end of our lesson. Here are some words that you might need to use to help you be successful on your writing today about a math or science tool. I'll read it first and then you'll echo after me. And I've included pictures on some of them as clues to what the word is. This first word is beaker, calculator, help, math, measure, ruler, pencil, scientist, science, magnifying glass. This time I'm going to read it and you're going to echo after me. So I'll point to me when it's my turn. I'll point to you when it's your turn. All right. Beaker, calculator, help, math, measure, ruler, pencil, scientist, science, magnifying glass. When we are done with this lesson, you're going to be writing or drawing a picture of a math or science tool in the box. If you're kindergarteners, I'd like you to draw your picture and label. You can use some words from over here if they're on there. If you are in first grade, you will be drawing your picture, labeling your picture, and then you're going to be answering these two questions with words, with a sentence. How does this tool help you do math or science? And what makes a tool a tool? That second question is kind of a deeper, more broad response that might lend itself to some higher level thinking. So again, today your assignment, when we're done here, we're going to read one more story before you go, is to draw a picture of a math or science tool that you use. Kindergartners will label, and if they want to push themselves, they can complete the other two questions or write a sentence of their own. And then if you're in first grade, you're going to draw that tool. Remember, both first graders and second graders use the whole space when you're drawing and add color. make it even better than the day before, first graders are also going to answer these two questions. How does this tool help you do math or science? And what makes a tool a tool? Remember, we learned last week when you're drawing a tool, you look closely at the shapes that you see. So for example, I see a rectangle, two rectangles. I see a circle. I see some black on the end. When I look closely at my ruler, I see the lines and the numbers. I notice that it says inch and centimeter. I wonder what that means. Quick tip, an inch is two fingers big. We'll tie to math real quick. A centimeter is about the size of your pinky. So an inch is about 2 fingers big. A centimeter is about the size of your pinky. Before I set you free to go do your independent work, I do want to read this story to you called Tools by Anne Morris. So I'm going to stop this share, and then we're going to go ahead and get our document camera, which again will take me just a moment as I shrink everything down that we don't need. Thanks again for your patience as we're toggling back and forth. All right, so here we go. Perhaps, there we go. Gotta move this up. All right, we're gonna make this a little bit bigger. And here we go. Tools. I'm gonna turn off this light. I think the glare is from that. Yep. Anne Morris Tools. Photographs by Ken Heyman. We're gonna spend several days on this book this week. Today's just our first read through to kind of study what's going on. It says tools. And there's a picture of a man sawing something, a log or something. And there's some really neat pictures in here. This man's using his feet and a tool. All over the world, people use tools. That's the introduction sentence. So I know this book's going to be about people all over the world that use tools. Tools help us in many ways. They help us to cut. And pound. And dig. We farm with tools. We cook with tools. Again, this book is about people all over the world using tools in different ways. We even eat with tools. People use tools to make things. And to fix things. And to clean. Tools help us to write. And count. And draw. And paint. Tools help us with our work. And they make our lives easier. And then there's an index that we'll be exploring in greater detail. So this book, Tools, was about tools and how people use them all over the world to make their lives easier. We're going to learn more about this throughout the week. As I said earlier, we're going to study and break down this book a little bit more. Remember, your job right now is to go ahead and do your response. You are going to answer the question, draw a picture of a math or science tool, and then also respond to how does this tool help you do math or science, and what makes a tool a tool. More of that information will be in your I'm working on this. More of that information will be on your Seesaw so that you can respond to that. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and have a wonderful rest of your morning. I'll see you back here at 9:45 if you're kindergartners, 10 o'clock if you are first graders.